Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream on Friday night tonight. No Wednesday stream this week. Instead, we're having a special Friday stream. I'm calling it a Friday stream because it's a special stream. It's a Bond stream. I'm going to join Tom very soon, and we're just going to play some. I say we. It's going to be me playing some from Rush of Love, and Tom just joining me, just to chat about Bond and everything. Because of course, this week we launched our Bond podcast, Bond Revisited, and so we thought it would be a good idea to just do a little themed stream together. Maybe get the word out there a little bit more if you've somehow missed it, but we've been spamming it. So yeah, we started it last year and kind of finally got up and running, ready to go and actually start publishing. So cool stuff. We were that was my super secret project I was talking about in my anniversary video on the 10th of January. And yeah, I didn't want to give too much away, but I'm really pleased with how it's turned out so far. And obviously only one episode, or episode 0 is out at the moment. But if you are a Bond fan, plenty more to come in the future. Plenty more. Hello to MC. Hey, MC. Hey, Max. Aloha. Lexor. Hello, welcome. That's funny because in From Rush of Love, there's a Lector. So we've got Lexor. What a nerd. What a nerd. But yeah, so I doubt we're going to play terribly much of this game, but we're just going to go through some of the levels and see how it goes. It's, as far as the James Bond games go, it's not the best one from Rush of Love, but I do remember playing it quite a lot when I was younger. And I think the novelty of it being Sean Connery, unlike all the previous Pierce Brosnan ones, was really cool. Like seeing him as Bond again and hearing him as Bond again, because he actually re-recorded lines just for this game. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I'll go join Tom and we will get underway. Let me go unmute on Discord. Hello, Tom. Are you there?
I am. Hello.
You are live on Twitch. Please do not swear.
All right, I'll try not to.
Thank
The
you.
answer's D, 100%. Pick it.
Oh, you went with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Is that not what you were doing?
Oh, it's Big Brother. That's Davina McCall. She's like, you are live on Channel 4. Please do not swear.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Did they do that in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as well?
Do you know what? There was no message about swearing.
Yeah, they were playing with fire on that one.
Risky, especially if, I don't know. Maybe they were screened better on ITV compared to Channel 4.
Well, I guess they weren't live as well, were they?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, right. Let me just get this up and running so Tom can see the game, because that is going to be quite important.
That'd be nice.
There it is. And then there it is for Tom. Hopefully.
Not quite.
Not quite.
I could just see like a blue rectangle.
Oh, maybe I need to actually click into the game. There we go. How about now? I'm actually in it.
No.
Oh, we literally just tested this before the stream. How does this always happen on stream? Why?
Don't know.
Stop streaming.
It did work. I can confirm. I wasn't lying to you. I wasn't just like, I'll tell him it's working. But then he looks like an idiot.
Okay, let's try that again.
Still blue.
Okay. We did so. This is not. It's not a good look for us, Tom. Our last stream together was was the Mario Party one.
Yeah,
which also had some issues.
I didn't notice.
I wonder why that's doing that for. I wonder if it's because I started like doing OBS stuff and then that's messed with Discord.
It must have been, right? Because this just worked first time before.
All right, I'm gonna leave the call and rejoin you and recall you. Okay.
No worries.
Honestly, you just can't trust tech these days. Who has the better voice? What is this poll? Don't be pitting us against each other already. Record timing for that. Right. Hello.
Hello.
There's a poll suddenly made about who has the better voice.
Yeah, I was going to vote for myself, but that's a bit much, isn't it? Like, I can't.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, I did vote for myself. Yeah. Okay. Can you see that now?
No.
All right, all right. Oh, I got another idea then. I'll just do it. I'll do it as like a window monitor rather than sorry. I'll do it as a display monitor rather than um, a windowed one.
I
That should
see.
do the trick. Share my whole screen.
Oh, is there any good stuff on here?
Um, no, nothing juicy. I'm afraid. Nothing juicy.
It's still the same. Maybe I should leave and come back.
Oh no. Okay, yeah.
Because there's no reason why that shouldn't work.
Okay, yeah. Maybe you try that.
Okay.
How do I stop streaming? Peeping Tom. We will get to the game eventually. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Back.
Welcome back. Here you go.
Yeah, that worked.
All right. See, it was just Discord. It was just Discord being stupid.
Yeah.
You also can't hear it. So one thing, I'm streaming this. Sorry, I'm emulating this with Dolphin because I'm not actually hooking up PS2 and all that malarkey with this. And Dolphin's really good, although it's very loud. So I had to like turn it down to literally 2% volume. So
Oh wow.
hopefully it's. I'm gonna put the volume on, and then that'll give me a bit of breathing room for audio. But yeah, so I think this is pretty stable. I tested it for like 10 minutes. So let's see how it goes.
I feel like out of all the emulators out there, Dolphin is like one of the best ones.
Oh yeah.
Like outside of like I guess the Game Boy Advance ones, right, where there's like nothing can go wrong because they're so basic. Like I feel like I've not played anything in Dolphin and had any real problems.
Dolphin is really good. Really
It's
good.
just good, right? It just looks amazing and it works.
And it does Wii, it does GameCube obviously, and a lot of games it's stable for, which is really good.
Yeah. Like I don't worry about it when I try a game on Dolphin because the assumption is that it's probably gonna work. I don't know how long it's been in development for, but like they've put a ton of time and effort into this thing over the course of probably at least a decade.
Oh yeah. So before we get started with the game, I have to ask you, like, did you play this when you were younger? Did you have any connection to this game?
I didn't play it when I was younger. I kind of, which is weird because I had Agent Under Fire, I had Nightfire, I had Everything or Nothing. That was a big birthday gift for me when I was younger. And then I got also GoldenEye Rogue Agent. But by the time it came to this game, I was like, whatever.
Oh
I'm good.
no.
So I played all of them on the PS2 apart from this, and Quantum of Solace if we want to get technical here. So yeah, this was just kind of the one I stopped playing the Bond games on. GoldenEye Rogue Agent, I guess, was too much for me to bear.
And have you been back to it since?
Yeah, I did that review back when I was doing reviews. So I have played for it, although that was about 7 years ago.
Okay. Right, well, let's get started then. I don't think I can... Well, I don't want to skip the intro anyway, because it's quite... it's a good, nice Bondy cutscene. And I can't skip it anyway, because for some reason that button's not mapped correctly. So
Oh,
we'll go with agent difficulty. But you got to give it to them. Like, that's a good thing with these Bond games, is they always try and make it like the films with a proper intro and everything.
well, this is just straight from the film, right? Like,
Yeah.
although that he, for some reason, was stepping all the way to the side there. He wasn't, missed his marker a bit.
But this isn't actually how the film starts, everyone, just to let you know. There is some artistic license with this PS2 game, or this GameCube game in this case.
It is quite crazy that the most iconic thing about the From Russia with Love game is a section that just never happened in the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I think of this game, this is what I think about. Big Ben, the jetpack. Who is it? Natasha Bedingfield or someone like that?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, this is what I think of. The rest of the game, I couldn't really remember it too well. But this, like, yeah, okay, we're playing the From Russia with Love game.
I wonder how it would have looked if they tried to do this in 1963. Probably not very good.
No. Should we count the references to other films?
Okay, go on then. 1, 2.
A dry martini. Shaken, not stirred.
Oh, God. Forgot about his face.
Go.
Elizabeth Stark, the Prime Minister's youngest daughter. We received word half an hour ago there might be another kidnapping
What are the references you were counting, right? The suit.
The suit, the car.
Oh yeah, and the car.
What a smarmy looking bartender. Oh, that's right. They couldn't have Spectre in this game, could they? So it's like, it's a different organization.
Like Octopus.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an anagram or not, because Spectre is an anagram. I don't know if they try to do something for Octopus.
All right, here's a question. Do you know what it is? Can you name it off the top of your head?
Oh, Spectres?
Yeah.
I think it's just begun.
No.
It is very stupid. I remember that. I remember the first word is special because that's the SP.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I can actually control that.
Espionage, is that in there?
Special, that might be the last E actually. Maybe like special executive for counter terrorism. No. Lost it already.
No, I think you were close.
Really?
Special Executive of Counter Terrorist.
Revenge and extortion.
Revenge and Extortion, yes.
There you go.
Proper Bond fans us, aren't we? Proper.
We know our stuff sometimes.
Top tier. We should do a podcast.
So one of the things about this game is that obviously this is the first one with Sean properly as the main Bond, and they actually got him back to do the lines back in 2005. So God knows how many years since he'd played Bond. I guess it would have been never say never again, really. But you can just tell, like, I mean, it's really cool that it's actually Sean doing this, but he's a lot more Scottish in this. Like.
Yeah.
Very Scottish.
I want to say this, I think I remember reading this, that this was the last time ever that he played James Bond before his death.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest.
But he didn't do, like, you know, when we had Daniel Craig, and I guess we're still kind of in the Daniel Craig era, but you saw him elsewhere, right? Obviously, famously the Queen and stuff. But there's like, you still saw him. Like, he was kind of like an ambassador for Bond and stuff, and but I felt like Sean Connery, as soon as he got his paycheck and was out the door, he was completely checked out. Like, no real. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe there are some clips of him playing Bond outside of the films and stuff. But I feel like he completely separated from the franchise and the character as soon as he was done. As soon as they said cut.
I do wonder. I don't know. Well, I guess it hasn't really been enough time since Daniel Craig has stopped being Bond, but. If he'd have stopped playing Bond after Spectre, when he had the whole thing in the news about wanting to slit his wrists rather than do another one, all that sort of stuff, I wonder if he wouldn't kind of want to do anything because he maybe left on a slightly more bitter note, but then sort of redeemed it with No Time to Die at least. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. I feel like Daniel Craig that's just kind of his personality outside of the franchise yet. Like, that's just how he kind of is. Like, it's just a bit, I don't know how to describe it in a nice way. Not temperamental, but it's just like, oh yeah, that sucked, ha ha ha. Like, I don't think it was a genuine cry for help. I think he was just being quite blunt because he'd just gone through quite a tough shoot.
Yeah.
And really, once he calmed down, he was fine.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. It's just the press and everything like to blow things out of proportion.
And also, I'm not going to cuss. I think Joe would just kick me out if I started effing and jeffing.
Yeah, Tom has got evidence of my former days where I was a lot more potty mouthed on his stream, but I'm not like that anymore.
No.
Watch this.
And that was from the Futurama LP. That's what made it so disgusting that this happened.
Yeah. Different time. What was your first Bond film? Sorry,
you also said the word because we've been doing this Bond stuff. I was like, hey, I'll watch some Everything or Nothing. So I watched your one, and you swear in that as well.
Do I?
Yeah. I think it's just when you were younger doing LPs, if someone killed you when you're in the middle of something, you would just like...
legitimately annoyed.
Yeah, you just get really annoyed. You're just like, I'm trying to talk.
Oh, that's so bad because it's like now I get very nice comments from people saying, oh, I really like that you're kind of family friendly and I can watch your videos and I don't have to worry about stuff like that. And then it's like, oh, don't go back and watch the old stuff then.
Yeah, it's nay on the Futurama nay.
One thing to note as well is So this emulation, it's not perfect. You can see, oh, you might not even be able to
Oh,
see on stream, but
yeah.
there's like a weird square around Bond, and I could not for the life of me get lights working correctly. So there's meant to be a bit more of a bloom, like a bloom effect around lights, but that's just missing here. I'm sorry.
I think it overall still looks pretty good. Like that reflection is, I guess, anytime I see reflections in a PS2 game, I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the game could definitely look better than this. I didn't really upscale it or do much like that on the emulator because I was worried about it lagging. So I kept it quite simple. But I think even, yeah, for its time, this was a pretty decent looking game, to be honest.
Well, this is what we were kind of, or you're talking about Sean Connery coming back, but this is what EA's kind of era of Bond on the PS2 was all about. They like put a ton of money behind these games. They got all the proper actors, they got the same like script writers, they would write songs for these games as well. Like these are big budget AAA productions. Like nowadays they would be the equivalent of like a Sony sort of game. I know that's kind of hard to imagine this being like that sort of thing, but they really were on that level because of how much they put into them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, Natasha Bedingfield, she ain't cheap. Maybe now she is, but maybe not then. Hey,
Can we get her for the stream? Is that what you're saying?
I'll try.
Oh, what was her big song? I'm gonna look it up.
It was because it was a brother as well, Daniel Bedingfield.
Unwritten? Was it
The
Unwritten?
rules are still. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
But Daniel Bedingfield didn't want to run away.
Oh, I'm so glad that. Well, do you know what? That's really unnecessary to say. I'm so glad he's not not around. I didn't hate him, but he just sort of faded, didn't he? Just sort of faded.
Oh, he had a
into...
car crash.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah. That's why he went away, because he got in a car crash, and I think he's fine. But yeah, he almost died.
Oh. Ooh, okay. Sorry, Daniel. That
After
was
you
definitely
saying
wrong.
you're glad he went away.
Not like that.
Cutting brakes over here. I'm going to make sure that's correct. I don't want to spread rumors about Daniel Bedingfield's demise.
Come on, yeah. No fake news. No misinformation on this stream. Apart from my incompetence. I just get things wrong. That's accidental.
So we do have a question in the chat. Mega Parasect.
Die.
He asks, or she, I'm not sure. What was your first Bond film?
Oh, good question. Sorry, I'm getting shot a lot here, so feel free to go first.
Oh, okay. I think we talked about this on the podcast potentially, but for me, it must have been GoldenEye, because my origins with the franchise came from playing the GoldenEye game, which I would have got in 1998 when I was 6 years old. And I would have definitely have watched GoldenEye very shortly after that. So while I can't like remember watching it or anything like that, and potentially, something else would have been on TV, but the one that I know I probably would have spent the time to watch would have been GoldenEye, because yeah, again, I was 6 when I probably played that game for the first time.
It's a good one to start off with. That's for sure. I would probably say.
Here we go. Sorry, Joe. So while on holiday visiting his parents in New Zealand,
Oh.
in 2004, Bedingfield nearly died in a serious car accident, which left him with severe head and neck injuries because the car rolling on him.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, so there we go. Anyway.
Well, I'm glad he's all right now.
Yeah. But yeah, your first Bond film.
My first Bond film. First of all, just before I get into that, look at this. Look at how this is from dead still, no motion whatsoever. Look at Sean's jump here. Wow.
Wow, what a guy.
I mean,
Still got it.
And I think I'm right in thinking that if you actually, this is little details, right? So if you just do that from a stationary, right, he sort of hangs on. Or if you run and do it, he's fine. There you go.
Nice.
Little details. My first Bond film, yeah, as you say, I think we discussed this, but mine was probably, I don't remember cinema Bond until Die Another Day. Well, no, sorry, Casino Royale, I think I said, because my memory's terrible. But I definitely was a Bond fan before then, so I think my first Bond was probably on TV, and that would have been here in the UK on ITV. ITV is always the one that had the Bond, the rights to the Bond films, and they'd play them quite a lot ITV and ITV2 eventually. So I probably watched it. It's probably a Roger Moore one, which is why I'm a Roger Moore fan. I don't know what it's going to be though. Maybe I couldn't tell you the actual specific one, but let's just say Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah, that's probably a safe bet, right?
Let's just go with that.
But yeah, again, just too young to remember. Like if I saw my first one when I was like maybe 10 or older, then I might have remembered it. But really, just like I say, I was probably 6 years old
Yeah.
when I saw one.
So I'm just I'm just having a look at the details. Look at this lady here.
Look at that lady.
I'm going to talk to her.
How do I get to the roof?
You'll need this pass key.
Okay, thank you for the. How do I get to the roof?
Oh, that woman just had the key to the roof of Parliament handy.
Yeah, she's very important. She's actually she's the I don't know. I can't even think of a role in the cabinet. Give me that. I
Oh,
need
what,
that.
any? Like
Yeah, I was just trying to think.
Council of the Exchequer or something?
There you go. Yeah. I might die here though. Actually, I've got very little health. Oh, give me that. And I do take damage from this stupid helicopter fight coming up.
Although looking at that woman, oh dear, I would get into cover here. But looking at her, it is super nice to see them for this game recreate Parliament, but like a 60s version of it that would be appropriate to when the film came out or was like took place.
Yeah, I mean that's why. Can I go back in there now? I can still go in there. Let's go for a tour of Parliament a little bit more. Actually, I need that. No, I don't. I'm full. But like this stuff, I mean, yeah, like you say in the film Rush of Love, we eventually get the Lector, and it all kind of looks like this when they're going into the embassy and stealing it, and there's a lot of detail put in here.
Yeah, they put in the effort, which is super nice. I like that.
There'd probably be more detail if I up the resolution, but you know, some things I almost kind of like this still looking a bit of that generation. Something a little bit weird to me when you maybe not over, but you just like really push these emulators with old games, and I don't know, it's kind of almost like a weird uncanny valley. It's like the game shouldn't look like this. It's weird. Looks too nice.
Well, yeah, it depends what you're going after, right? Because the art lead or art director, whatever, would have designed or put everything together to look the way that they thought it would look on people's TVs.
Yeah.
So by removing it from that context, you're going against the original vision of these games, which I think making it a little bit sharper and stuff and fixing some of the technical stuff is a really nice idea. But yeah, it's not really fair to blow up a game like this, stretch it all out, and then say, like, look at this texture, look how bad that looks. It's not, no, that's not fair.
No, quite right. It's like the whole pixel when you play old games on a flat screen compared to a CRT monitor, and like CRT monitors hid a lot of crimes back in the day, sort of thing.
Yeah, but it really did add something. It's something that there's a YouTuber I watch called Any Austin who talked about it in one of his videos where he runs in an emulator, but he intentionally puts on filters after the fact.
Oh.
But he was just saying, like, the pixels, the way they're rendered, they're not supposed to be sharp. They're supposed to be blurred. And once you blur the pixels, that's how you create the correct image that the game wants you to look at.
Right.
And he was quite convincing. I'm like, yeah, I spent years on YouTube trying to make it look as good as possible. And now here comes everyone saying, no, make it blurry. We want it authentic.
It's just
gone
everything
back the other way a
yeah,
little bit.
everything comes around in circles, doesn't it?
Yeah. People want retro, then they want modern, and then they want retro again, but modern. So I've spotted a Bond reference. I don't know if you've picked up on it.
It's Big Ben, isn't it?
Yeah, because of he's British and stuff. So they put Big Ben in there.
They really did cram a lot into this opening bit, didn't they?
Was there seriously no Bond film that had Big Ben in it for some sort of set piece?
Yeah, I guess not.
That's crazy that they were able. Like, this feels like one of them where they came up with the idea and someone was probably just like, we can't do that. They must have done it. And then someone watched the films, was like, nope, we're good. We can do it.
And so they did. It's pretty cool.
And then you blew up Natasha Bedingfield.
Who are you?
The name is Bond. James Bond.
Hello, Kagra, by the way.
Oh, that's cool.
This is, yeah, this I really do like this intro bit.
Oh, look at this red. Oh.
No, there's just, yeah, it's nice to see effort like this to, I mean, it's not a massively difficult thing to try and do a Bond-esque intro, because, yeah, like you just get silhouettes of stuff, you just get close-ups like that, but they didn't have to do this, and so to see it like this and updated, and there you go, that there's whoever that lady is, and I
The
think
classic character, that
there
lady.
she is, there's Natasha.
Ah, there we go.
Like, getting them in there and kind of sort of matching them to the rest of it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, here we go. Best Bond girl, Natasha Bedingfield or Joss Stone?
Oh. Oh, I remember, for some reason I remember Joss Stone more, which is strange.
Well, she is like a core part of that plot. I don't think Natasha Bedingfield shows up again. I think she was just here for that intro.
Because yeah, I remember the bit at the end of Bloodstone where she's in it, Joss Stone. So yeah, I'd probably go with her. Just.
Okay. I'm going to take Natasha Bedingfield on this, I think.
That's fine. You don't want one to feel left out.
No, someone's got to be in her corner.
Kim wants me to save. I'm just gonna do a little hotkey there and save it to a state.
Oof.
Don't oof that. Okay, so yeah, that was all not in the film, but now we're actually going to get onto film stuff. We're going to go to, what do they call this mission? The Hedge Maze.
Oh, great. Great idea for a level. Like, it just writes itself, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the stealth aspect is not going to be my forte. Let's put it that way.
Since when? When did that change?
Just recently, really. Just kind of fell out of it with that sort of genre.
Because I was going to say, when we played Splinter Cell back in the day, I don't remember any
Yeah,
stealth shenanigans.
I was hot on it then, and I lost my touch.
There is a part of me that kind of wish, and you can't really do this, but I kind of wish you played as Grant in this mission rather than James
Ooh.
Bond. Or James Bond.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, this level would be a good excuse for why the Sean Connery model doesn't look too good. But, well, it's just a mask. It's just
It's just a fake.
I mean, it looks all right, I suppose. It does look a bit rubber face there, though, so maybe they did change something. I don't know.
It's the eyes don't look like his skin doesn't fit his eyes.
He looks a bit worried. So yeah, like look at his eyebrows there. What's he doing now?
Don't know. This is the most emotion I've ever seen out of Sean Connery.
Right. Right. So yeah, now I've got to try and stealth
Z
attack.
to stealth walk. What?
Press R to perform a stealth attack. Okay.
I
Here
don't
go.
remember this game having much stealth at all. Like maybe 1 or 2 missions.
I'm going to judo chop him
Nice.
in the neck. Oh no, not quite. I don't
At
know if
least
that is
they
one
do
of
the
them.
thing with stealth, and I think a lot of the stealth of this era did this, where it's just like, if you're crouch walking, you're good. Like they're not going to hear you. You can go as fast as you want. Just go into stealth crouch walk mode, and then all you have to do is go up to them and chop them, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like it's not complicated. It's nice and simple. Where like the 360 era and afterwards made like they complicated it a bit much, which made it a bit more stressful and difficult.
Oh look. Can you see that? If I hang on, is the camera gonna? There's that. I think they've actually loaded in Grant like there, because when I walk through this gate, they're gonna have a shot of him, and I'm pretty sure he's there already.
I think I saw someone.
There he is.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can't make out very well, but that's kind of neat. Is he moving? I think he is. That's kind
Yeah,
of
it's
creepy,
just...
actually.
I'm not sure if that is Grant, though.
Watch. There he is.
Oh, yeah, it's Grant.
Die. I definitely shot him just then.
Damn. Almost got him.
10 shots and they all missed. Hey, Dennis. When does Tom Cruise show up? Could you imagine Cruise as Bond? If
No.
they did decide to do like an American Bond, which they did do screen tests for at one point, he would have been in the running for sure back in like the 90s.
Well, it does seem like with Bond and this sort of stuff, they do try and get big names. Like, they don't normally land on big names, but you always hear about them talking to kind of big known actors to try and come in.
Yeah. But I just know that I wouldn't be able to stop looking at his weird middle tooth. There's
Yeah.
the judo chop. Thank you very much, Sean.
Classic. But I don't think Tom Cruise has that James Bond energy. I think he kind of wants to. But to be fair, I really like Mission Impossible. And I think Ethan Hunt is like his own version of an action spy and a pretty good one at that. Like, there's Bond elements, but like, I don't want to see tiny Tom Cruise in a tux.
Tiny Tom, is that when he's in A Christmas Carol?
Yeah. I think that's what... I think South Park called him Tiny Tom Cruise. Something like that. But Denham has mentioned Jason Bourne. I don't think I've seen a single Bourne
Me neither.
film. Yeah. I think they're meant to be good. I just, for some reason, never got around to it.
Well, I always read about Jason Bourne films being part of the reason for, or at least those sort of genre of films being the reason why Casino Royale and we had the Daniel Craig era that we did.
Okay.
At least an aspect to that. There's many other reasons as well, I'm sure. But do I need to shoot that radio? Boom. Don't shoot me.
I'm going to look up when the first one came out. Maybe that was like 2004? Oh, 2002. Wow. So the Bourne Identity came out, I want to say the same year as Die Another Day.
Oh my, wow. What a, what a difference.
That's embarrassing.
Hmm.
Which one's better, Die Another Day or the Bourne Identity?
Having never seen Bourne Identity, Bourne Identity.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a pretty solid bet.
Although I did spot that the guy who played the baddie in Die Another Day, can't remember his name now. Well, the character's name is Gustav Graves, but I can't remember the actor. Oh crap! He is doing a audiobook of the Bond books, I think.
Oh, just reading them out, right?
Yeah, I think he might be Bond in them.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever listened to one of those like elaborate audiobooks. You know, where they actually get people to do the different voices.
Hmm.
It sounds like a really cool idea, but I've just never like picked one and started listening to it. Although I've seen ads where like on Twitch for a while they were playing a lot of Audible ads. And one of them was a Star Wars one.
Oh.
And it was like Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi having a chat. And like the voices were really good, to be fair, but now it's just stuck in my head. Where it's like Yoda going like, "I'm old, Obi-Wan Kenobi." And Kenobi's like, 200 years is old. It's like,
So
and then it cuts out.
I'm assuming it wasn't Ewan McGregor.
No, they were going for more of an Alec Guinness.
Oh, cool.
voice.
Oh, yes.
Which it sounded good. Like, it sounded good. I was quite impressed by it, but because they kept playing it on Twitch and Twitch can throw so many ads out there, I just heard it so many times of like, "I'm old,
Well,
Obi-Wan Kenobi."
I got same adverts for Audible. There's the key. But and it was also related to being old, but it was the bloody the pointless guy over here, and he's done all these books now, murder mystery books. What's his name? Richard Osman.
Ah, right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's an advert for one of his murder book things, which is like set in a retirement home. So it's just these old ladies in this advert. I was so sick of it. So sick of it by the end, which you think, you know, I'm all for old ladies, but not in that advert.
Yeah. I haven't seen the advert, I'm afraid, but Richard Osman's an odd guy, isn't he? Like, sometimes I can see him on a show and be like, yeah, he's pretty funny, some good lines here, he's quite enjoyable. And then sometimes I can see him be like, oh god, just not funny, kind of annoying. Like, it's weird. Never hate or anything, never really annoyed, but just like he just seems to flip flop from being really witty and funny to just kind of being a bit of a damp blanket or whatever the term is.
Yeah, no, he probably rubs me more the wrong way than the right way. Because I just think, like, know your place, right? You were great on the pointless little sidekick man. Now he's got too big for his boots.
Oh yeah, he can't have his own show.
No,
like,
I
he's
tried
not-
watching his own show and it's just a bit weird. Ah,
But it also doesn't help because Richard Osman's not that big of a comedian stuff. The guests he gets on are like the second tier ones as well.
the ones that just constantly do the circuit of this sort of stuff.
Yeah, the ones who it's like, I can't think of any names off the top of my head, but like when I did, because over Christmas his show was on and we watched the last 5 minutes of it, and yeah, it was like a quiz show, and I think it's meant to be kind of funny, and I guess it wasn't awful, but yeah, all the guests were just like whatever, and it was just yeah,
Is that the one
not the
called
best.
House of Fun?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Can I walk along the hedges? Nope. Trying to break the game here. Oh, Tom, I watched your Simpsons Hit and Run video today.
Yeah, I'm coming for you.
And so, yeah, just to let people in the chat know, Tom has got a video out of a Simpsons Hit and Run challenge where it's a hit no cars challenge. As I was watching it, I was thinking, Joe, I'd be pretty good at that.
Would you?
I think I would, because there were some parts. Oh, what's going on there? Okay, never mind, they saw me. There were some parts where I was like, oh, it was mainly linked to not really necessarily my own skill at the game, but more the speedrunning hacks or tips that I know.
Oh, just taking shortcuts.
Just
and stuff.
taking, so yeah, like, for example, let's play Simpsons Hit and Run now, actually. No, not really. So that the last mission of level 1 where you have to race Smithers, the one speedrunning thing I did manage to do is that if you kind of reverse it into the power plant and then reset your car, you glitch inside the power plant and then you just drive. And obviously, the end of the race is at Burns' mansion, so it's right there. So I was thinking, like, oh, that's a good little trick for that bit.
I mean, that would really work, but then I guess it's opening that door if you're doing this challenge, are glitches allowed in general? So I don't know. I just made it up, but it'd be interesting to. I guess if you're doing glitches, you've got to go all in with glitches, right? But I think it might be a bit more interesting not to kind of break the game.
Oh, I would glitch all the way though.
Oh no, yeah,
That's
fair
just
enough.
me though. I'm in a bit of a pickle here.
Well, I was surprised when I did that video because I didn't remember all the stuff where the cars will actually try and get out of the way. So if you hit them, it pretty much is usually your fault because you're just going fast and you just don't get out of the way because they try and you still just smash into them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely something linked to like level difficulty as well. Obviously, like
Oh yeah.
because I was thinking and watching that one, and then I was thinking to like level 7 where it's all Halloweeny and they're just constantly hitting those stupid witches on the brooms.
Hmm.
Did I get? Yeah.
Yeah, again, I hope to do the whole game doing this avoid all cars challenge as I've called it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just did that. Give me
So
all
you
that
know
stuff.
what makes this a not very faithful adaptation? I haven't seen a single person smoking a cigarette.
Oh, you might have to keep waiting for that. Look at this guy. What an idiot.
Yeah, they look a bit dumb. It's like, is that Sean Connery? I don't think it is.
Duck. There we go. Where has he gone?
Must have gone inside. What are those blue dots on the map? Because I assumed it was the enemy, but no, that was someone else.
It is. I think they're just all objectives. So find the North Gate key, which is in here.
Oh, I forgot this game had the 007 or the Bond moments.
Yeah.
I
Shoot the
completely
gas
forgot
can
because
next to the car.
I always think of everything or nothing when it comes to Bond moments. I didn't realize they. Oh no, actually, Nightfire had Bond moments, didn't it?
I think so. I can't remember. I don't know as much about that game.
I want to say Agent Under Fire had them as well. And I only say that because I remember that there's the grapple claw in that game where you can like grapple up to vents and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Like it's really quite silly, but because it's in first person, all that happens is like a grapple car shoots out and then you just kind of get warped over to it. But it was one of the best things about the multiplayer of that game. Like overall, I think Nightfire was a lot better multiplayer wise, and kind of there was other games that were better multiplayer wise. But Agent on Fire had this grapple claw, and you could play one of the levels that had a ton of grates you could go to. So you would be like James Bond and Oddjob just like grappling all over the map, trying to kill each other. It's really fun.
Oh yeah. Oh ah.
Watch out.
It's a nice little thing. I remember the Bond moments for Everything or Nothing when I Let's Played it, and I remember some of them being very, very stressful because they were sort of the, if you don't do it in time or you miss it, then that's it. Like, there's no going back for some things. So, I am bad at games generally, believe it or not. But
No, I do.
when I put the practice in, I can get it done. Like I got.
I won't say anything. I'll leave it to chat to
Oh no.
determine whether that's a true or false statement.
Right, let's. Oh, hang on. Did I see? I've already missed it for this one. No, it's next to the car, which is over there. Okay. Shoot the gas canister. Oh yeah, there you go.
Nobody does it better.
Would have been nice to have like a little Bond twang there or something.
Did it not?
I don't know. Maybe there was, but it didn't sound good to me.
In my head, I thought it was like, or at least in other games, it's like dun like one of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. Maybe it was just covered a bit by the music.
Or they should have a random one-liner for Sean play.
What, just from Russia of Love or from all of his films?
Just whatever. Maybe not even from the James Bond films, just from his interviews and stuff.
Junior.
Oh, do you think there's a Sean Connery soundboard?
Absolutely.
I hope there is.
Absolutely.
Oh, I might have to do that for a stream. A Sean Connery soundboard only stream.
What, so you wouldn't talk and it would just be...
Oh, no, I would talk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anytime something happens, just try and find the appropriate Sean Connery zinger to go along with it.
Those guys are worse than Stormtroopers. Well, now they're dead.
They paid the price. But it's interesting because I guess I'm going behind the curtain a bit with this one, but we have already done the From Russia with Love episode. So we have seen this film recently, which means I am now thinking about differences and stuff like that. But something that happens in the film is that you see Spectre Island and you see all these goons being trained, basically.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm aware, they have nothing to do with anything. And all you're seeing is just a load of people being trained who never show up in the film at all.
They all just killed themselves by accident.
They set each other alight.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's odd. Like they train all these people and they have an army of people, but then it's just Bond and Grant on a train, which I like.
I just want to, imagine just a gigantic fight on the train, just tens of people clamoring on.
Oh, it could be like that that Korean zombie film.
Oh yeah.
What's it called? Train to something.
Train to Terabithia.
I don't think so.
No, that was a bridge. Whoops.
Yeah, that's the one with the kid and I can't remember, it began with B, but it's a good zombie film if you want to.
Bhutan.
Yeah, that's the one, probably.
I think if that is right, the only reason I know that is because it was in a Wordle. Do people still do all the Wordle clones?
Do you do the?
Yeah,
clone?
after dinner we do Wordle, and then plus word. God, that sounds so lame.
What's the last one?
Plus word is actually the best one, better than Wordle.
Oh,
Plus
that's your
word,
dessert. It sounds
honestly,
like.
it really is. So plus word is a combination of Wordle and a crossword and then Wordle at the end.
Right.
So you have to fill in a grid of words, which then turn green or yellow. And then at the bottom, you can use those coloured ones to then do the Wordle and work out the final word.
Okay, I think I might have to see this to have it make sense.
Hmm. Oh no! All that work for nothing.
And he could have had everything.
I think the Grant model looks quite good, actually.
Yeah. But it's kind of like how the Sean Connery one, when he's not moving his face, looks pretty good. And so far Grant has not moved his face.
True.
That's not too bad. She looks a bit like a sponge, but that's fine.
Sponge Club Square shoes, dagger shoes. Oh, that's not a good Tatiana right there. Oh no.
No.
She's a bit Palpatine-ish there, actually.
Hmm.
Do it.
She's got the face for it. That looked really good.
Yeah, they even got the same
Quite
like,
crazy.
mustache guy and everything. Oh, look at that cut.
Ah,
You're going to need a miracle, James, to explain where
Money Penny. Hmm.
Oh, Moneypenny, let me tell you the secret of the world.
You'll have time for that later, 007. Step into my office immediately.
Oh, I forgot this is in this game. This little bit, like you actually get the end briefing, but as an interactive thing. It's just really
Cool.
neat. Very big
This
office
room is
though.
a lot bigger.
she's got she's like, right, either I get a pay raise or my office is bigger. Come on now. Like, imagine if the hat rack was over on this side.
He just
He just
nowhere
constantly
near.
misses.
Nowhere near.
Have a look around here, actually, taking some of the detail.
There should have been a hat throwing mini game.
Oh, that seems like, yeah, that would have been a thing now, or maybe on the Wii, like you flick it with the Wiimote.
Yeah, I was thinking more Red Dead Redemption, where you could play horseshoes in that game.
Oh yeah. Don't
What's
really
that a map of? Is that of Turkey? Is that Greece and then Turkey, or is that Kazakhstan?
know. Oh, I say I play Wordle. I'm very bad at it. So-
Oh, I don't think that's English though.
No, I thought that said Russia then, but it's not Russia. It's just squiggly lines. I don't know what this use means on this typewriter.
Well, that thing is glowing.
This gives me some, is it blueprints or schematics or something? Where is it? Oh, I got hold. Oh, it's a dinner jacket.
Oh,
Okay.
lovely.
Oh, can I put that on now? Or is that for the, that might actually be for the, oh yeah, that might be for the multiplayer maybe.
Oh yeah. I mean, I only played this for the review, so this was kind of beyond that point. But yeah, I kind of forgot this had multiplayer. Like, I know Everything or Nothing had multiplayer, but I mostly remember the co-op campaign rather
Mm.
than like the competitive stuff.
It seems you have an admirer, a woman in Istanbul, Tatiana Romanova, who's fallen quite in love with you.
But I've never even heard of a Tatiana Romanova.
Of course, girls do fall in love with pictures of film stars.
But not a Russian cipher clerk with a file photo of a British agent.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
No, it's some sort of trap.
Precisely. And the bait is a brand new Lector, a Soviet decoder machine.
The CIA has been after one of those for years.
And so have we. When she contacted Kerim Bey, head of Station T in Turkey, she said she
I'm not sure if you're talking, but I can't hear you.
No, I was just trying to listen to the M voice.
Ah, so yeah, I got no audio. That's my bad.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Is so fantastic, it just
It's
might-
not
And
great.
because it's one of these games on PS2, no subtitles.
To Istanbul. Q is
I
waiting.
can put subtitles on if you want.
Oh, does it have subtitles?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, I thought you
Yeah,
could hear
let's
the
get those
game.
on. Yeah, yeah.
Did I not share audio when I did this on thingy?
Oh, you might have done. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing.
I've turned it up.
Okay, can you hear this?
I wouldn't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay. Yay, we got the briefing. Succeeded. Great.
Nice.
Thanks, Em, with your pipe. Yeah, the voice was all right, but it could have been a little bit. Sounded a bit young. Talk.
You have your orders, 007. Move along.
Oh, I can hear it now. I had
Move
to turn it
along.
up.
Okay, thank you. Cool. Yeah, look at. I mean, everyone got a bloody office expansion. So much room.
It does take you out of it a little bit. Like, it's so cool to be in these locations, but like just being so absurdly big.
Let's do some laps around the desk. Dennis says it looks like the Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan area. Thank you, Dennis.
Yeah, I thought Kazakhstan, but I don't know why they would be showing that.
Hmm.
I think it'd be Turkey.
Okay. Oh, hang on. I've got to grab that. There's the schematics. Okay, so
Nice.
how do I use them? Upgrade. I always forget this game had all this stuff as well, where you can.
Well, I don't think any of the other games had it. That's the thing. This was like a one-time thing.
What shall I do? Shall I? Oh, Joe, I'll get some more. I'll leave it for now.
I don't remember not really liking the upgrade system, but I think it's because like you upgrade one weapon, so you use it, and then you run out of ammo,
Hmm.
and then you just have to use another weapon. Like from what I remember, the ammo balancing and all the different weapons is just not very good. So it's one of those games where you're just constantly rotating weapons, which just doesn't really feel very good for a Bond game.
This is not working.
What are you looking for? Trying to see inside his face?
I was trying to just get a close up of Moneypenny. Yeah, she looks alright, I suppose.
Doesn't
Hair-
really look like her though.
Hair could be better.
Yeah, the hair's off and her eyes are just not quite right.
Did you hear about that chap at the concert?
Oh, the one who's predicting that one day we'll all have computers on our desktops and be able to communicate on them.
Ridiculous.
Absurd.
God, that's why they're called desktop, isn't it? It's one of those words you don't
Ah.
ever think about because it's on top of your desk.
It's a desktop. If only they knew.
But does anyone have their desktop on top of their desk?
Not anymore. No.
No.
Maybe back in like,
Mine's not.
maybe when I was younger, possibly. Oh, this guy looks very depressed. Oh, why does he look? Oh, why does he look so sad?
Don't know. Has he wet himself? What's going on?
Oh dear. Oh, poor guy. Come on, Q can sort you out with some adult nappies, I'm sure.
Got so excited about the idea of desktops. Just lost control.
Why is it really dark there? That's
I don't know. There's no. I'm assuming it's a shadow, but from what?
Let's move on quickly. We need to go see Q.
Doesn't look good for MI6.
No, no. I think
You
need
got
to
M,
recruit.
Moneypenny, the man who wets himself. That's 006.
Oh,
Actually.
right. Here we are in Q branch.
Oh, that's
Good
cool.
morning, 007.
Oh, good morning, Q. How have you been? Busy inventing things?
Not as busy as you've been destroying them. Follow me, 007, and try not to break anything.
Oh, there's the line.
There's the smirk.
Now, it would be good if you could actually break things as you go around. I don't know if you can, but if you could like press A on something and it just explodes.
Yeah.
Sadly
A
not.
sandwich.
mission objective: steal Q's lunch.
It's a stealth mission.
Anything else around here? Anything from the films? I wonder. Any little Easter eggs? Doesn't seem like it.
There's a lot of glinting, glowing things in this place.
Oh yeah, hang on. I
Yeah,
can
like
look.
that cupboard was glinting as well.
Oh, this is the grapple hook.
This is a
Oh,
rappel belt.
rappel
with a
belt.
grapple and rope that will allow you to scale walls.
Can something go wrong and he fall off, or
Of
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
To be worked out.
wow, wow.
How embarrassing. Okay. Where's the other little sparkly bit?
On the left. Back to where you were by those cupboards. One
Oh,
of those
okay.
like metal cupboards. Yeah, you're over there.
Oh, yeah. Do a little bit of rummaging. Oh, it was
Oh.
ammo.
How exciting.
What about this? What's this then?
Here's something I'm particularly proud of, 007. This is the Q-copter. Light, agile television equipped for surveillance.
Oh, dear.
Oh, he's dead. They killed him.
Oh, grow up, 007.
This is a really cool way of doing this.
It is, isn't it?
Just have you actually just go and see them be demonstrated in the game. Yeah, that's really cool.
Perhaps you think training beneath you, 007, but I'm afraid it's the only way to proceed.
Okay, fine. I'll go do some training.
I'm not playing this game, but so far this game is a lot more neat than I remember.
Situation, 007. There's a bomb somewhere in the training area. You have to find it, equipped only with your laser watch and guns.
Laser watch. Target through glass.
From
Cool.
GoldenEye? Okay, all right.
Use laser watch to reach the bomb. Great.
Tip it over.
Oh,
tip
hell.
it over. Tip.
Come on, Q. That's a bit much.
It's an octopus, man. You gotta burn his neck.
I'm going to laser him. Oh, no. He's immune. Oh, wait. He's nearly... There we go.
Yeah. Boom.
Oh, that's a new challenge here. Laser only run.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Give it a go.
I'm bored of this run.
Yeah, this is not the most exciting thing. Oh, they're getting some good hits in.
Oh, you can actually... Oh, what was the Bond moment for this? Does it even have one? No. I guess it's not even a
Shoot the
proper
gas
rule yet.
can next to the car.
Good. Oh. Science stuff. All right, I'm full on ammo. All right, thank you, game. Look at this, though. Hang on. I can... Oh, ho,
Quite
ho.
close to that.
It takes it like a champ.
Oh my, wow.
There is a way to... Oh, there. Right. I say like the way to flick between the animals. Don't hide from me. Now, I do agree with you that this game is, well, what you're saying, like a lot more neat possibly than you remember, but I don't know how long it takes until the... I remember the driving sections not being good, but I don't really think many of the driving sections in any of the Bond games was typically, like, terribly good.
Not them being bad, though.
No. Just a bit clunky.
I remember liking them in Nightfire, but Nightfire was like very linear, and I think Agent Under Fire was the same thing, where it was just like a very linear chase where you went down one specific road, and it was just a load of exciting action and glass breaking and explosions.
Yeah.
So they catered it towards that. I remember the one game where I remember the driving that stands out to me is Bloodstone, and it's because it wasn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so confusing because this was the team that made like Project Gotham Racing, which used to be quite a big franchise on the Xbox. And then they got, hired to make this third-person James Bond game, and the driving was just like a bit weak. I'm like, that's not right. This should be better.
I feel like with that, yeah, with Bloodstone open, it felt like there was a good Bond game in there, just not to its fullest potential.
Yeah, it was just a bit bland, I think. And I think from what I remember, they got a bit stuck in the whole because this was in the era where Daniel Craig and everything was kind of being rebooted and reset. So like Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace stripped out like a ton of the characteristics of Bond,
Hmm.
and it kind of meant that the game that Bloodstone was trying to be one of them and fit in with that era, and it also had all this stuff missing, and it just wasn't the way to go.
Oh yeah, like everything being solved by a bloody phone as a gadget.
Yeah, it was that sort of stuff, and they just stripped it all out. And because this was like during the 360 as well, where there was a lot of shooters and stuff, it just felt really generic. Like the only Bond thing about it was that you were playing as Daniel Craig, really.
I mean, I say all this, but I would happily take that. If anything came out similar to that now, I'll happily take it. Any Bond game.
Oh, definitely. Like the idea of like an original standalone Bond film as a game is awesome. Love it. Like we actually got quite a few. I guess how many are there? It's Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, Everything or Nothing. Do we want to count GoldenEye, Rogue Agent?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you don't play as Bond, but I guess it kind of counts. And then Bloodstone. I want to say that was about it.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just checking Octopus Base. Yeah, and I mean, at least we're getting that one from what's the developer called?
Interact IO.
IO Interactive, yeah, the Hitman makers. At least we're getting that, but God knows when that's going to come out.
Well, I posted my theory on Twitter about this. I'm happy to go over again.
Please do.
So basically, like, as we know, the whole No Time to Die timeline all kind of got like pushed back. So it was meant to come out in 2020, but COVID and stuff like that, like they released the song, so we know it was meant to come out April 2020. And like we found out at the end of that year that IO were making this game, and it was going to be like an origin story for Bond, and it got announced as being pre-production at the end of 2020 when they were probably already planning the next set of films, even though No Time to Die didn't come out until like November 2021. So I reckon the whole plan is that they announced this as an origin story because it's going to be the new Bond and his origin that's canon to the films. And it'll be a little bit of a reboot, but the films will just kind of carry on as Bond is established, but the games will be with that actor, and it will be how he got his start.
So it's actually going to look like the new actor.
Yeah, like it's all going to be canon, is my theory.
Oh. Oh, okay. I mean, I did see your tweet. That is the thing. The thing that the only thing that kind of would lead me to think probably maybe not is what. So I'm just going to moan a little bit about Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson because they are really annoying, right? They are the executive producers of the Bond franchise. They've been for many years now, like their parents and Cubby Broccoli and all that. And you see interviews with them. There's a lot of interviews last year, obviously, of all the Bond celebrations, 60th anniversary stuff. And now that Daniel Craig is done being Bond, a lot of the questions are always like, oh, what have you got planned next? What's the future hold for Bond? And they're always so coy about it, saying like, oh, well, we haven't really started yet. And I'm like, okay, fair enough if you don't want to, this is Daniel's time. He's ending his era as Bond. You don't want to start pushing too much new stuff. But you must have done something because, as you say, like this was meant to have been done 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Like, they're just, I just wish that they would, I wish they wouldn't lie because they clearly are lying about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I do wonder how much the Amazon stuff has affected this, though. Like, because now they're involved and own MGM, I want to say. Like, it feels... I don't know if them being involved is complicated things to the point where they're just going to be a bit coy and stuff, and it's safer for them to do it.
Possibly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what... It's been... When did that even happen, that whole takeover. It was a couple of
Um,
years back now, right? Or maybe even longer than that.
No, I don't think it was that long. Because I want to say that hadn't happened when No Time to Die was meant to originally release. I want to say it was post-pandemic.
It appears that your truce with the Russians has just ended.
But I didn't order an attack.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, I could just Google it. I mean,
You'd best get us out.
I just when that news came out, I know there was all these the Bond stuff on Twitter and just the Bond community and the snippets of it that I see on social media and YouTube. We're all talking about how, what does this mean? Are we going to get Bond TV shows? Are we going to get Bond films potentially more regularly, or at least hear about stuff sooner? Or is there going to be games again? And I suppose the game stuff did eventually pan out, but how do I lock on? I didn't actually read.
can you pause and look at the controls?
Oh
Oh no,
Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh.
Screw it, I don't need to. I'm too good.
Do it by eye. So in May 2021 is when it was announced, and then the deal officially closed March 2022. So less than
what?
a year since it was official.
That feels like it was so much longer ago to me. That is weird.
I knew it was post-pandemic, but I wanted to say it was before that. But
Destroy that garage.
Assuming they don't destroy this car first.
If we need repairs, there's the mechanic in town that will
Holy
gladly
moly.
aid us. He owes me many favors.
Oh, there. Right, that's how I look on. Okay.
no. So we do have a question from the real Max.
Shoot.
You're now the new owner of Amazon, the
Oh.
company that currently owns James Bond franchise via MGM Studios. What is the first decision you announce?
Me as Bond.
You did it, Joe. Me as Blofeld.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
I don't know. So I don't know enough about how they did things, actual business wise. But I imagine they're quite protective over the Bond license.
Yes.
So I would probably loosen that a bit.
You mean more Lego? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, more Lego, more. Oh crap! Mega blocks.
Oh.
No, I just.
No,
I
to be
just,
honest, that's not.
Yeah.
I actually, when you said Mega Blocks, my mind went to Roblox, and I was like, oh no, that's not what you meant. I guess the big question is: do you do a TV show or a new film
Yeah.
first, or do you do both? I guess. It might be cool to have a James Bond TV show, but I feel like you would lose something, and I think I would prefer a new film personally. Like, I would be very interested to see what a Bond TV show looks like and how that might work. But to me, he's just so ingrained with films. I just want to see him in new films.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is one of the things they were saying, how Bond is a cinematic thing. Because there was talks about when it was during COVID, are they going to put it on streaming services instead? No Time to Die, and they were very adamant in that no, this is going in the cinema, and that's the only way you can watch it. Which I totally agree with. Like, I wouldn't want to see Bond like first thing at home. I think it is a cinema thing, in the same way that people would say that about, I don't know, Mission Impossible films or Fast and Furious. I don't know what people would say about, but TV show wise, I'm kind of with you. I don't really know what I'd even want to see in a TV show, because it couldn't be like the films. It might not even be about Bond. It would be like a, I don't know, M prequel or the origin of M or something like that. It's like I don't want to see that.
I guess my concern is that Amazon has pumped out a lot of these kind of shows, which are like Bond adjacent, like Jack Reacher and what's the other one? It's another one as well. The one that Jim from The Office plays, or maybe that is Jack Reacher.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is.
But I think there's two, because there's another one they just came out with as well. So I don't want that. I don't want that type of show, and Amazon have put out some good stuff, but I don't really want them to do a James Bond TV show. I can't imagine it would be that good.
No.
So I guess here's another question for you. If we're still staying on this topic, would you do origins of Bond in any way, or would you go? Would you want to go straight into Bond's established and here we go with a new one?
As a TV show.
Well, just where if it was a film, like I guess for whatever the next thing is that comes
Oh.
out, would you want to
No.
see like a new origin or something?
No, Joe, what? I'm done with that. I'm done with reboots and origins and stuff. Just I want some consistency. Give me just an era of consistency. Give me the Bond films every 2 years. That's not going to happen. But I just think there's nothing really to be. I mean, I know there's books and stuff about. I think it's actually maybe a bit too young. The young Bond books. I think it's when he's in like Eton or wherever it is he went to. But there is that out there in book form and probably comics as well. I imagine there's something like that. And I just think it doesn't need to be a film. That sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't personally have an interest in a young James Bond. Like, I don't mind an actor who is younger. That's fine. But I'm not like, here's a more rough, not as smart, or, not as accomplished, put together version of Bond in a film. Like, we have. It's one of those where there's so many duplicates of Bond, and there's so many things that have been inspired by it, that a lot of stuff's already kind of done a lot of this stuff already.
Yeah.
When you see a Bond film, I'm up for them evolving Bond and changing it like they did with Daniel Craig, but you still want Bond to be Bond. Like, there's something special about Bond, and I don't want that stripped away just for the sake of doing something different.
Yep, that's exactly it. Oh, okay, good.
That froze.
Yeah,
Is
froze
that
them.
just me?
Is that grenade? Can you please
Just stand there and take the bullets. Nice.
please crouch or do something?
But in terms of what I kind of want them to do, it's like, just cast a new guy in the role. I'm going to be a bit controversial and say I don't want Jane Bond. That's not.
No, yeah, I don't want. I'm sorry. No female Bond. And I'm saying that not because I hate women, but because it's just unnecessary. It's just have a different. In fact, there was a film that came out. Wait, or was there?
I think a film did come out. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the name of it, but maybe I'm completely wrong here. But there was a film that came out that basically was kind of along those lines of a female spy, and it was good. Like, you didn't need to tie it to any existing franchise. It worked on its own, of its own accord.
I feel like they definitely attempted every now and then. I can't really think of one that I've seen and worked, although there's lots of films I haven't seen, so maybe there is one out there.
That's meant
But it's for the same reasons, right? Of what I was just saying. Bond is a very unique character and special, so let's kind of just keep that uniqueness.
Yeah.
What we'll do, we'll give Mindy, what's her name, Mindy something, the one who just did that Scooby-Doo cartoon.
Oh, the Velma stuff that's getting all loads of backlash.
We'll give her the rights. We'll see what she comes up with.
See how that goes. Let women have their own cool spy character and let Bond stay James Bond. Yeah. Well said.
Interested to see what that film you were thinking of, because I know they wanted, like, Angelina Jolie for a while was kind of a action, actress, I guess.
Yeah.
She did quite a lot of films, like Wanted series, and there was another one that
Mr. and
I could
Mrs.
see
Smith.
Yeah, there's another one that I can see the cover of in my head.
Is it the Bullet one with James McAvoy?
No, that's Wanted.
Oh, that is Wanted. All right.
There was another one
Ooh,
that I don't
shotgun.
remember being great. It's like an orange cover and she's like looking down, but I can't remember. But like, she was doing that for a time and did a pretty good job, because she is someone that when she's on screen, she's good on camera, like very, very talented.
So
I think that
the shotgun is just
Sorry,
like just blasting people with a shotgun. That's great. Sorry, do go on.
yeah, I remember that. But then I think the problem is that Scarlett Johansson has tried to take over that mantle, and
Oh, God.
she's really good as an actress.
She's a very good actress.
Marriage
Yeah.
Story is a really great film, and partly because of her and her acting, like really good film. But I prefer her in those roles than the action star. Salt, yes, it was Salt. Thank you, Dennis. That is what I was thinking of. But yeah, again, Scarlett Johansson, I think, and then Jennifer Lawrence for a time was kind of fitting that role with the Hunger Games and stuff. But even then, I don't think she ever really found her feet outside of those roles in terms of being a more action-focused actor, anyway.
I died.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't want to
I died. Don't judge
rub
me.
it in. But I
I
can't
just-
remember what was that. Oh yeah, Scarlett Johansson had that film Lucy, I think it was called.
Oh, is that the thing where it's like if you used 100% of your brain?
Yeah, it's that thing that comes along every now and then. What if you can't unlock the other 90%? You could do karate or whatever those films do.
Right, I've messed up the mapping here because this is meant to crouch what I'm doing here, but it keeps on locking on.
What, Z?
Well, I've mapped it to left thumb.
Oh, I see.
So I'm doing a lot better this time. It's okay.
What would you say is your favorite James Bond game?
Everything or nothing.
Okay.
I think it's just very solid.
Oh, that sounds great. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, it's got it's probably got the least creepy looking Judi Dench.
That's tough. That's a tough crowd there.
I say
Poor
that.
Jude.
Is she in that one? I know she's in a lot of them.
Yeah, she's gotta be.
'Cause I know you at
Because
least
Everything or
talked about
Nothing was like the biggest budget one they did, with the song and with Willem Dafoe.
her. Oh god, I forgot Willem Dafoe was in it.
Yeah, as Max Zorin's like apprentice.
But yeah, I just think it has a good variety of missions, and I like the sort of different modes it has. It has like that Bond vision thing, and it kind of works well. And it has the vehicle stuff in it isn't terrible. I mean, the one that's standing out in my head is the bike chase on the bridge, which is just really cool.
Is that going after the train?
No, but that's a cool level as well. This one is like the Pontchartrain Bridge or something.
Okay.
It's just a really long bridge, and you go really fast. It just looks cool.
Oh, you're so gonna die.
I
Sorry
really
to be
am. I
negative,
really
but,
am. This man's got a
shotgun.
shotgun.
God.
Why won't
I
you
think
die?
you using the shotgun is what kind of screwed you over before. So I guess hug these corners. There we go. There we go. This is good. Our armor.
Give me that.
Yeah, again, I think running in with the shotgun is not a great shout.
Can I not? Okay, fine.
I think it's tricky with me because I haven't played any of these PS2 ones in years. So I could pick one of these, but I don't know if they would generally hold up too well. I mean, it seems like this game holds up decently well, so I guess if this does, Everything or
Yeah.
Nothing probably does as well. But like Nightfire, maybe that game's terrible now. I hope not, because I love that game. But maybe that like some of these actually haven't aged too well.
That's the thing, is that I think if people were to go back to these games who hadn't played them maybe when they originally came out, because I mean these are very dated now, this sort of starter games. I don't really see this stuff very often anymore. So if you're a fan of this, then great. If you grew up with this, obviously you can have an attachment. I don't know many people that would actively choose to go back and play these Bond games if they weren't a massive fan of Bond.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think not like Everything or Nothing and this in particular. Like if you know nothing about From Russia with Love and never saw it, then this is just like a generic shooter, and Everything
Yeah.
or Nothing's kind of the same. Like so much of that stuff is trying to emulate the Bond film series. That if you're not fussed about the Bond film series, then some of that stuff probably seems really dumb
Yeah.
and makes no sense.
Just the novelty of it, isn't it? It's just like, oh, we're in M's office. Oh, there's Sean.
It's Sean. I think another big tragedy of this game is They didn't have the tech for sweaty Sean. The technology wasn't there for the true vision of how they wanted him.
Yeah, he's looking quite unsweaty.
Yeah, too dry. I don't like my Sean's too dry.
Oh my god. That's gonna be, you know how I always take your Phil Mitchell comment? That's the new one right there.
Oh no.
That's the new one. I don't
trap.
like my Sean's too dry. Oh. This game looks pretty damn good, says Goji Berry Fatty. I think you're right. And this isn't even like doled up on the emulator too much.
So, like what we were saying earlier, the production values of these PS2 ones were top notch for the time. Like, it doesn't quite reach like, because to me, when you say really good looking or really impressive like animations and character models and stuff, there's two games that come to mind, and that's Metal Gear Solid 3 and Silent Hill 3, because their tech for people was insane for the time. So this doesn't quite go on that level, but it's still top notch. It's still really, really well done.
Yeah, it's just refined, you know. There's no skimping. We've got the shotgun.
Oh yeah, you got the shotgun.
We've got the shotty. Believe it or not, there was done another spin-off of Halle Berry's Jinx. Yeah, thankfully it never happened.
Yeah, I've been known to make a joke at Halle Berry's expense. I'm really looking forward to getting back to that film, because in my head I remember her being just bad and just out of place, and they just didn't really know what they want to do with that character, and neither did she. But I want to know if that's actually correct. Maybe I was being a bit too harsh.
No, she is pretty bad in the film. But the thing
Oh,
is,
okay,
like
cool,
as you
nice.
say, she's a good actress. Right? I think hadn't she just won? No, I think she was just about to win. Maybe it was a year after she wins the Oscar.
For
she's just-
Catwoman.
Yeah. So clearly she is a good actress, but it's just very, just wasted in that film. What am I doing? Missions. That's it.
So something I found out after the fact, because she was in the X-Men films as Storm, and she didn't really stand out to me as Storm or anything. I remember really liking those films when I was younger and thinking they were great, but it's one of those that years later when you go online on the internet, and it turns out a lot of people didn't like Halle Berry as Storm in those films.
Oh,
But I was
really?
like, I don't
Oh.
remember her being bad. But apparently people just didn't like her in those films.
I know the line that she has about a frog, but that wasn't
Does
really.
she sap a toad or something?
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
Toad. Yeah, because isn't there a mutant called Toad? That's the only thing I know that gets a lot of, because it's like I don't think it's her. I think it's just a really bad line, like a really bad line written for her.
Yeah, but you kind of got to give X-Men that first film a lot of slack, because I think it came out in 2000. So for it to actually just be good and a good superhero film is like a miracle.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen the X-Men films, to be honest, though. I mainly remember. There's always the one bit I always remember from the X-Men films is just the White House fight bit. I don't know which one that's from. 2, maybe.
Oh, with Nightcrawler. is it
Yeah,
called?
that's the thing that always sticks out in my head when someone says.
I think
X-Men
that's the
films.
opening scene of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Die. What can I
Do
do?
you think
here?
X-Men's been tarnished a bit by all the recent films and stuff? You know, like after Logan, to me that kind of just put a full stop at the end of the franchise, and everything else has just apparently not been very good, and I've not really cared to see it, but I've never kind of had the urge to go back and rewatch.
I never saw Logan.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, who's the director is doing something. Who is the director of that film? Do you know?
I'll look it up, but I think I know what you're thinking about. Like, this is someone.
He's
Of
working on
note.
something, and it's something that
Oh,
I
here
would
we
be
go. Yeah,
interested in.
James Mangold.
Oh, it's the Indiana Jones. Right, it's the new Indiana Jones film.
Yeah.
That's it.
He did something else that was good. Let me take a look. Oh, Night and Day with Tom Cruise and
Oh.
Cameron Diaz.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh,
Yeah, apparently he did that, which I never saw, but it looked quite good. Night and Day. Oh, we want to talk about action films.
Is it bad that I have no clue what you're talking about? Night and Day.
Did you never see that poster of Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz and they're like on a motorbike, and they're both looking the opposite way, shooting a gun.
No, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's an action comedy with those two from 2010,
A comedy. Oh,
directed by James Mangold of Logan fame. The film was remade in Bollywood as Bang Bang. Cool.
Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
It's a Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Kissy Kissy Bang Bang. Oh, I need to. I'm not sure if I did see this film actually, but if I didn't, that was one idea I had for the podcast. It might be a bit too silly of like doing a separate spin-off, which was just like the parodies of Bond.
Right. Okay.
So like Austin Powers, Johnny English, like all that sort of stuff. Like, I'm not sure if I'm committed enough to actually sift through them or actually talk about them, but I like the idea of it.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, I'd be very down for watching Johnny English again.
Even like did you watch the new one?
I did not.
Because didn't they come back like twice?
There's 3 Johnny English films.
Yeah, it's like Johnny English, and then it's like Johnny English back again, then like Johnny English like reborn or something.
Yeah.
He kept coming back, and they kept making a big deal of it. Like he's back.
Yeah, I remember them. I enjoyed the first one. I think the second one wasn't as well received, and the third one was maybe slightly better, but kind of strange
I
that
only
you got
really
3
remember
films.
the first one.
Yeah.
I think. And I remember the Robbie Williams song that plays because I actually quite like that song.
Oh yeah.
Man of All Seasons. Remember getting that off LimeWire back in the day.
Oh. Back before every single song was at your fingertips.
Yeah.
All those
Like
guys.
that was back when go and stay at a mate's house, the one mate who had internet. And like spend all evening, like all night just downloading like 12 songs. But then only be able to put like 5 of them on my little MP3 player and take them home and be like, yes, I've got the eBay song by Weird Al. Yes, finally.
All right, old man Tom.
Yeah.
Back in your day.
Yeah. I've got Sum 41. Nice. I'll listen to this all the time. Oh no, my battery ran out. I can't afford a new one. Sad times.
Did you ever have any songs on one of those like 128 megabyte MP3 players? That you
Yeah,
got
that's
from
what,
the
that's
Sun.
what I'm talking about.
Oh,
yeah, my
yeah.
first one was 128, but you know, the rich kids were like the 512. I'm like,
Oh.
God, one day. But then I did upgrade to a 256, but it was like a, how do you describe this shape? So all around it was like curved, but like had points on it. I don't know what shape you would call that. But like the whole thing was a little screen and everything else was this like a blue light.
Mm-hmm.
So when it was on, the whole thing kind of glowed blue.
That's kind of cool.
It was cool, but it was really dumb because, like, again, these were battery powered. You put one AA in the back. So why am I like using battery power to have my MP3 player glow blue? But I did think it was really cool back when I was younger.
It was worth it for your street cred.
Oh yeah, I had to cover it up sometimes just to go to the shops.
You look too good. Everyone would just keep complimenting you. Like, guys, I just want to buy some milk.
Yeah, please.
Have I not got any? Okay. No. No. Oh, here I can change. There we
Oh,
go.
nice.
There we are.
I like it. It's a bit weird to see
So let's just
him in that.
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. No, not the shotgun. This is my downfall.
I guess I'll help you catch up on chat a little bit.
Yes, please.
So Dennis is saying no one can be worse than that swear word Cyclops.
What's wrong with Cyclops?
So I thought it was. I think the third film is what really did Cyclops in. That was rough.
Is it because he gets all jealous or something?
Yeah, he gets like eaten by the lake or something. It's the whole thing.
Oh.
But yeah, something that blew my mind the other day that I saw on a stream or something. The guy who played Cyclops is the same guy that's in the Sonic films now.
Yeah.
You just never saw his eyes in those films. but you see his eyes now, so I didn't equate the two at all.
Is he is he the one that's also in oh hello. um Westworld? Is that him?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen much of Westworld.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard
Pressing
people dislike her storm role. They simply didn't care. Yeah, maybe not then, but I'm sure I heard some hate about it. But it might just be some very angry minority, I suppose. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is a fun movie, says Dennis.
Is that with Robert Downey Jr.?
Oh, I'm not sure. Is this pre-Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah. Smashing noises around me.
Shane Black, I've heard of that name. He's the director.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he did Lethal Weapon as a writer. Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer, says Dennis.
Val Kilmer. Wow.
Yeah, it seems like he was quite involved in like those 90s sort of films. Like those sort of action, bit of comedy films. Like Lethal Weapon, Last Action Hero, it looks like. He did Iron Man 3. Ooh. Ooh, okay.
No.
Oh, he did The Nice Guys. The Nice Guys was pretty good, from what I remember. The Russell Crowe, Ryan Gosling one.
Oh, yeah.
Again, very much a throwback to that sort of 80s, 90s kind of comedy action films, but, you know, a good one.
You're annoying me.
And
though.
then Kai Gra, probably saying that wrong, apologies. My favorite Bond-inspired thing is a musical called Spies Are Forever. It's a comedy, but
Oh.
also has some good characters and serious moments. It's free on YouTube if anyone's interested.
I recognise that, but that might have been because maybe you mentioned that in a previous stream. I feel like I feel like I know that.
I mean, it's very Bond sounding.
That also reminds me of a game that's called like something about spies.
Oh, does this actually have a Bond-inspired intro song? Because I'm always down for those type of songs. Like when someone does their own kind of fake Bond theme, I always kind of, it doesn't matter if they don't 100% work, I always kind of appreciate the attempt.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's just you don't even need that much to make it a Bond theme. Just get in a few like twangs and bit of horns in there. Yeah, and then
Just that type of horn.
and it's just it's good. It's cool.
I mean, the best non-Bond theme has got to be Snake Eater.
Which one's that?
Oh, Joe. It's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Oh, don't get me started on Metal Gear Solid.
Well, we don't have to get started on it. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, definitely like it takes place in the 60s and stuff, and it's not like a James Bond inspired game or anything. It's still kind of very Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that. But because it takes place in the 60s and the background of the Cold War, and he is a little bit of a spy, but not really a spy. But so obviously Hideo Kojima was like, let's do a Bond theme and also a Bond opening involving like snakes and stuff. And the song's great. It's really good.
Does it even have a sort of Bond music video-esque nature
Yeah,
to it?
yeah, that's the thing. It's all themed around snakes. It's like these CG snakes and stuff. While it's playing the big theme, which has the very big horns and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's worth a listen, for sure. Just on its own. They did another one for Metal Gear Solid 5 because that was a sequel to it, but it wasn't quite Bond sounding. Oh, what was that song called? I can't remember.
Is 5 the one that's come out relatively recently?
Yeah, well, I mean 2015 now, but
Oh
yeah,
my
the most
God.
recent one.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about Metal Gear Survive, but I don't think you are. Sadly. Sins of the Father. That's what it's called. Sins of the Father. It has sort of a Bond theme, but more musical style. Oh, okay. And they only had a small band, so it's not as bombastic. That's fine. A musical Bond parody sounds quite funny.
Kind of sounds like the Harry Potter one that's quite popular on YouTube. It's this sort of college production. I can't remember the name of it now, but maybe it sounds a bit similar to that, where it's just a bit of a laugh.
Oh, okay. That's not a rabbit hole I've gone down. Harry Potter fan stuff on YouTube.
I can't remember what it's called now. Where am I going as well? I'm totally lost. How do I get to that dot?
Did you say before those dots are objectives?
Yeah, I need to go disarm the bomb, which is that red dot.
Okay.
Is there a door up there? Did I miss the door?
But that dot looks like it's in this room, isn't it?
I think it's just on the other side of the wall. I'm going to go out and around.
Okay. So Max says, I've heard the operative No One Lives Forever is a decent spy game.
That's the one. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. No One Lives Forever. Yes. Yeah.
What's it on? Just a PC game?
I think so. I think it was maybe released for a few platforms, but yeah, it is on PC. I think there was a second one as well, but I just recall people saying that was quite a good game for. How do I get in there? For what it was. I'm so lost.
Well, here's a game I came across, which is a Bond parody one. Let me try and find the name of it here. Bond and stuff. So as part of the podcast, trying to do a little bit of research to know a little bit about the films that we're talking about. Not too much research, but a little bit. And I came across this one. Where is it? So that's here. I've gone through a lot of Wikipedia pages.
Have you noticed that Wikipedia's changed as well? Madness.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. It's a game called Fox Hunt. It came out on the PC in 1996, and then on the PlayStation later in the year, which is like it's a live action sort of game. I don't know how the gameplay comes out. Looks like it's quite basic, but it's they shot it. But it's notable because George Lazenby is in it.
Ooh.
But it's a Bond parody game that I don't think George Lazenby isn't the main guy, but they got him in to do some sort of scene. I haven't watched any sort of clips from it yet, but I came across the Wikipedia page and I'm like, that sounds pretty interesting.
So it's like a FMV choose your own adventure game.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah, it's an FMV with a little bit of gameplay thrown in there, but
that sounds cool. I would love to play that.
Yeah.
Open. I would love to play that. I found the bomb.
So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say on the Wikipedia page in what role George Lazenby played, but obviously this is very much a Bond parody, so it'd be very interesting to see what he was, because this was 1996. So obviously this was like 30 years after he played Bond.
Well, poor old George didn't have the best career post Bond, so you could see why he was clinging on. Well, why wouldn't you? I would. I'd rinse it for all it was worth if I was Bond.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's sparkling.
The Harry Potter one is called A Very Potter Musical.
That's the one. No.
I guess we're doing this stream to promote the podcast, but we haven't really talked about it.
The what now?
Who did Pod in the what? If people have any questions, we're definitely here to help answer those. I think one thing I will say is get prepared for quite long episodes.
Yeah.
To the point where so we are a little bit ahead. I won't say how far ahead, but we wanted to make sure we had a little bit of a buffer just so we can always put out one every week. But if we need to take a week off because one of us got sick, which did happen over New Year, we came back and the podcast was meant to come out a week earlier, but because I was sick, we couldn't record anymore. So we pushed it back by a week. But yeah, in case we go on holiday, get sick, it means an episode will still come out.
Mm-hmm.
So it will come out every single week, hopefully with no delays, because we got this little buffer there. But yeah, it means that starting with Goldfinger, they're around like 3.5 hours long an episode.
So you better really like Bond.
Yeah. and it's to the point where, in order to make sure it's decent quality on the podcast apps and stuff, I have to split it in two and upload it as part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like they often don't try and defend it, try and sell it a bit. That it doesn't feel like that long when we're recording them. I don't know what it's like to listen to them, but it feels like we're talking. We're not just extending it for the sake of making it longer. So there's actual discussion in there, and also we like to sort of go through the plot as well, so that listeners don't get lost with what we're talking about.
This is what we found. So we did the Doctor No one. Then afterwards we had a chat about it, or I edited it and then came back to Joe and was like, sometimes we just start talking about stuff that we just didn't explain at all. We're just like reacting and talking about something that if you hadn't seen the film recently, it probably wouldn't make much more sense. So that episode still came out good, but it was our first one. But later on, it was like basically straight away, we get a little bit better at explaining what it is. So I would still highly recommend people watch it along with us. But we do kind of, hopefully, fingers crossed, give enough kind of setup with each scene. Just saying this is a scene where Bond comes in and there's a henchman and he has a fight, and then we talk about if we like the fight or not. That's the rough format of how the podcast goes.
More so Tom than me. I tend to forget a lot. So that's just me though. Ooh, another outfit.
Or is this? That's not quite right, is it?
It's not. I thought it might be a turtleneck.
I thought it might be the Goldfinger one at the beginning.
I'm gonna go back to. I like the dinner jacket.
It's more like a collared, like polo shirt. Odd.
But yeah, they are long. Not the longest we discovered Bond podcasts that are out there.
Oh, it's crazy.
But yeah, I think it's gone really well so far. And if you are, it's just, I don't know. I feel like last year was the 60th anniversary, and it didn't really do too much Bond related for it. So it's nice to kind of have this to do as well. It's like, and it's a year late in regards to that, but who cares?
Yeah, well, this isn't an original idea. Let's hold our hands up now.
Oh, no.
I think something that's quite nice about when we're doing this is that we're in a transition period for the franchise, and we're probably not going to hear anything anytime soon. If we do, then that's good for us because that'll probably boost the numbers. But again, it's more like this while we're in between Bonds and while they're figuring it out. Really nice time to go through them all. And now that Daniel Craig is wrapped as Bond, it means we get them all. Because a lot of the ones I saw online had started and finished by the before Spectre came out or before No Time to Die had come out. So it means that they kind of looked at them all and then did like an extra episode or two to cover those films, which, fair enough to them. But I think it's going to be a bit better for us because we get to watch all the Daniel Craig films and talk about them all back to back to back, rather than having to do it as like a separate, oh, by the way, let's go back and talk about the new one.
Yeah. One solid chunk.
Which is why it allows us to do the ranking element as well, because we've got all 25 films, all Bond has, finished their runs. So it's kind of much nicer to put them all together and compare. It's good first effort.
Yep, sorry, that's sorry, Q. And your Q-copter.
But I talked about splitting the episodes, but yeah, on YouTube it will just be the full one. You don't have to worry about that being split. It's just because podcast apps have limits on sizes, so you have to split them to make sure the quality is okay. But obviously YouTube doesn't care. You can just take a clip from a TV show and just say this for 10 hours, and they'll accept it. They don't care.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have it's a 4K, 8K quality audio podcast.
Perfect. From Max, I've already asked Joe, and now I want to ask you, Tom, will there be other Bond topics besides revisit the film? So I did post a response. You might have missed it. But I guess to reiterate, basically, by doing this rewatch, there's the intro episode, there's 25 films, and then more than likely we're going to do an outro episode, right, to sum it all up and look back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 27 episodes, which is 27 weeks of content, which means we're not due to finish this until like June, July. Like it'll probably be July when we've done the films.
God.
So I think we'll definitely think about doing more, but the kind of focus at the moment is let's get all the films done, have a complete podcast where we do the complete ranking, and then we can kind of see what we feel. So I think it'd be a shame if we didn't do the original Casino Royale and Never Say Never Again. So I think we'll probably at least do them. But in terms of the games and stuff and the books, like I think we'll just see how we feel at the time. Maybe take a break and revisit. You know, it's too early to basically commit to anything. Basically,
Yeah, let's get the main chunk of this podcast, like what its actual goal is, done, and then we can work from there.
yeah. Again, if we want to do more, we can look about that. But you know, whether that would be the same podcast, a different we'll have to see.
And
We
you
might
know,
just hate Bond. We might get to the end and be like, you know what, I'm sick of this guy.
yeah, or people get sick of us. So
Or both.
or both.
But that's the nice thing, right? It's us doing it and turning on mics and chatting, so it's kind of up to us and whatever we kind of want to do.
Oh, I forgot about this little helicopter fight.
Wouldn't it be a James Bond game without a rocket launcher and having to destroy a helicopter with it?
Always using this sort of thing.
Hmm.
Where do I need to go? It's down there. Okay. No.
Well, I think about it, trying to do podcasts on the games might be tricky because for this currently we have to watch a 2-hour film or something. But for the games we would have to play it?
I guess so, yeah.
And like 6 to 8 hours playing the game and then we can talk about it. And I don't, if we did that, we'd have to figure out the formatting of it. But yeah, that's not really practical to do it like that. But I think the games are interesting. I think people are on covering them a little bit more on YouTube nowadays. I do see stuff pop up, but there is a really interesting history with James Bond games throughout the years. The adaptations of the films, and then like the original ones, and then just the weird stuff, like, and then the remakes with GoldenEye and stuff. Like, there is a interesting history there.
So I was trying to find a bazooka. I found it.
Bazooka.
Okay.
But I guess one thing I will say as well while I'm here, so we haven't really talked about it in the episodes about like people watching along with us, but the more the merrier. Like, please do, and if you do, please also put your rankings in the comments. That'll be awesome.
Oh yeah.
If we had we're gonna have our lists and talk about them, but it would be amazing to have people doing the same thing and posting their list. And I think I had this idea the other day where, I talked about doing this outro episode where we'll probably just take a look at the lists and review and, kind of look back on it. But if we had other people's lists to look at as well and see how they compare, that would be amazing. So if people do that, and we do have a load of lists as we go, and by the time we get to No Time to Die, we have people who rank the films with us, I think I would love to talk about those lists and take a look at people's lists in that episode.
This is not what I want.
I think you need that bazooka. I don't know if you just ran out of ammo.
I ran out of ammo.
Is there more spawned?
You
Is
would
that
have,
it
yeah,
on
you
the
would have
left?
thought there'd be an infinite supply for this.
Oh, shotgun. Oh.
I swear there's a. Oh, wait. Is that some there? PP, no. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, just keep crouching. I mean, it looks like you're.
Looks like I'm
Gonna
gonna die.
Yeah.
Anything?
I think you just need health at this point, right? Like, one more shot and you're dead.
Grenade full. Oh, grenade. Okay. Well, that's a bit stingy.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna have to let yourself die, sadly.
Hopefully there's a checkpoint. But yeah, I'll just die. No, that would be really cool if people would watch along, and rank along. I think having, I don't want to give things away too much, but like obviously mine and Tom's rankings are going to be different. We don't have the same opinions for all the Bond films, and as they're changing, as the ranks are changing, each podcast is more like it's interesting how they're like diverging or coming together, and so like more perspectives of that. Right up my alley. Okay. Is this gonna... No, I have to go back and pick it up. Okay. Not that.
I think
then.
the shotgun might be better once you run out of ammo, because you can get very close to that thing.
I'm gonna be a bit more... Okay. Oh, it still get me. Sneaky.
But I also had this idea that if we get enough people posting their own list, then we could build like a collective Bond Revisited podcast ranking.
Ooh,
Where
a
I just, like,
community
do some sort
ranking.
of-
Like a community ranking.
Yeah, basically like do some sort of point system or something where it's like, you know, every time someone's ranked the film number 1, 25 points, and then number 2, 24, and then just collect, you know, add up all the points and then just see, you know, what's the collective list. Obviously we would need enough people to do that, so if it doesn't happen, fair enough, that's fine. But if we do get quite a few people who do post their lists on there, then yeah, I can put together some sort of here's what the community ranked, and take a look at that list. Doing a lot better this time.
I seem to be picking up... Oh. Okay, never mind. I thought I was going to pick up more rockets then. They only give you 4 rockets?
I guess they do expect you to use the SMG. Because
Oh. I'm going to grenade it.
they just gave you a ton of them.
Oh, that actually
Oh,
worked.
wow. Head of an arm. It's all that hat throwing.
Oh, crap.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, dear. That was not a good
Oh,
time to come
dear.
out. No, 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 no.
Need to go get that armor that's in the room.
Quickly, what's... Right. In there. I haven't watched all the films yet. Watching and ranking along could be a nice way to finally get them off my watch list. Yeah, totally. I mean, it is quite a big undertaking because there is 25 films. But if you're, you know, if that is something you're interested in, you have to really like Bond, I suppose, is what I'm saying.
I think it's at least worth, because I had a mate who I was like, I'm doing this podcast, and he was like, yeah, maybe I'll do it, although it is a lot. And I was just like, at least go back and watch Dr. No and From Russia with Love and see how you feel. Like, I think those are the two that it's very interesting to see Dr. No. From Russia with Love is a classic, so I think, you know, you don't have to commit yourself to doing all of them, but I would say at least see those two and see how you feel. Because if you hate From Russia with Love and Dr. No, then you're probably not gonna enjoy yourself and have a good time. But if you
Yeah.
like those films, then there's a lot of good films after that.
Die. Finish off with the
Pistol
PP.
time.
There we are.
Sniped.
Yes.
I didn't know you had that Sean Connery soundboard hooked up. I was just saying that as an idea.
That was actually an alert on my OBS.
Yeah. I mean, someone's just subscribed.
That would actually be quite a good one. Yeah.
It's time to spy on the spies.
How did I do? Did I? Oh, I didn't even see what the Bond moment was for that level. Does it say what it is? I didn't get the Bond moment.
Yes is the target.
No.
Current is no.
It's a funny way of putting that. Go on then, I'll save. I'll have a look at the next mission, but I might call it there.
Okay. What are we on? Like 2 hours, it looks like?
Yeah, I can't remember what the next mission is. It might be on... If it's what I think it is, then I'm definitely not doing it. If it's the boats in the like reservoir, I remember hating that mission. Istanbul Part 2. Maybe not yet. Oh, it's underground. Okay. Is this a driving one? I think this is a driving one.
Don't remember this one.
Joe, what? I'll do one more. Is that all right with you? You got,
Do
got
whatever
time?
you want, mate.
All right, so on as if you're
I'm
to go
off.
or anything. Yeah, all right, see you later. I'll do one more. I don't want to do that,
I mean,
that other one though.
I would say I want to go to bed, but we yesterday stayed up until like 12:15 doing the last episode of the podcast. So
Yeah, I think we were both maybe a bit delirious by the end.
yeah, this is just what we do now. We stay up late talking Bond.
Get disguised at the safe house. Okay.
And I don't know how you're finding the podcast, but it's quite a. When you look at when I look at what I do and what you do is something similar in terms of like content creation, it's a bloody lot. Like a stream every week, and then watching a film and recording like a over 3 hour podcast, and then like doing content for YouTube as well. I think we have signed up for. We
Yeah,
both do quite a lot nowadays.
yeah. I was catching a bit of your Twitch stream after the fact on like the VOD from Tuesday, where you were playing Inscription, and yeah, you were kind of talking about that at the beginning, weren't you? Like it all sort of adds up, all of this stuff, like Twitch streaming and the
It's
podcast.
just it's
now.
just like if you asked me 6 months ago before I started streaming again, like my evenings were nice and free. But now it's like, well, Tuesdays I do the stream, and then Wednesdays is when we watch the film, and then Thursdays is when we do the recording, and then I have to spend the weekend editing stuff, and then Friday is when hopefully I can record something for YouTube, which then I also need to edit and stuff, and it just adds up. It just takes your evenings away, which I enjoy it, which is why I'm happy to do it. But I'm getting flashbacks of how it used to be back when I was all in with YouTube, where it's just like you can really kind of get lost doing this stuff because you can do it as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, I mean that you said it yourself. Like you have to enjoy this sort of stuff, otherwise, what are these doors doing? You have to enjoy it, otherwise you'll burn out. Which still might happen yet, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, where's your video? What's the last video you uploaded?
I
what are
have.
you doing?
It's true though. Like I'm slacking.
Monkeying around,
I'm slacking.
doing podcasts.
Doing bloody podcasts and playing Sam and Max Hit the Road. What do I do in here? Oh, hello.
Who's this?
Oh, the son, aren't you? Your thingy's son. Oh, the uniform. Okay.
It looks like the guy who was playing Bond who got strangled.
Oh, I've got a Russian disguise now.
That's pretty cool.
Ew.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah, never mind. Oh, what's the Bond moment for this mission? Enter the secret armory. Oh,
Ooh.
I feel like that might be in here.
I assume it's in the Russian base or wherever you're going.
Oh, possibly.
It's an ambush.
But no, it's nice to be busy. I mean, if I wasn't doing all this stuff and streaming and doing the Bond podcast stuff and like artwork for it and all that, I'd just be sitting watching Star Trek TNG. So, you know, that can always wait. Picard's always there waiting for me. Sounds a bit sexual. It's not. I promise. How am I going to die so quickly? How did I just lose so much? What the hell?
I think shotgun's not the way to go.
Have I got... Oh my god, I didn't realise I had a shotgun. That's the only thing I got.
Oh no. That's
Oh, hell.
Oh no.
Okay.
Wow, that's not a very effective grenade.
Okay, no cover there. Great. All right, well, you know what? That's fine. Reset my ammo.
It's a rough start.
Oh. Is it going to put me all the way back at the beginning? How'd you... Oh, that's nice. Thank you, game. Have I already got it? I've already got it. Okay. Sexy Picard. Wait, I know. Well, listen, you know, he's not an unattractive man, Picard.
That's a factual statement.
Right, have I now got... No, I still haven't got ammo.
They really do expect you to use the shotgun, but there's like 3 guys.
Right, that's it. I'm going to roll in.
Yeah, I guess they expect you to do this. Oh, that roll animation.
Oh, yeah.
Did they mocap Sean for that one? It looks like one of his.
Yeah, there's a definite like part of it that just does not flow right. You can hear the bones cracking.
But it is kind of like, it's always going to look a little bit weird because if you were holding a shotgun, like how do you go into a role with a shotgun and continue holding that shotgun and still be holding it after the fact?
True. It's like what does... I guess, don't roll too much, otherwise he gets a bit dizzy.
Yeah, Sean can't stay on his feet for
Oh, let's catch himself. How do I get back in this car? There we are.
That reminds me actually, because I remember reading the official Nintendo magazine or something like that, where they talked about everything or nothing, and they had a little like joke piece. Can't remember exactly what it was about, or what the context was. But yeah, again, these little kind of jokes about games and stuff, and they were like, "Here's James Bond trying to get into his car," but they were saying how it's on the American side. So it was like screenshots of Bond going into the British side. But apparently in that game, if you press the button on that side, it doesn't work. You have to go in the correct side.
Oh, wow.
And then it's a screenshot showing Bond going around the car, going into the correct one. Which is, well, the wrong one, I would say, but the American side, because the devs were American. Well, I guess European, you could say as well. But...
You know what? These driving sections they're not as bad as I remember them. They're fine.
Yeah, it seems... I mean, they've done enough of them by this point.
They're a little less linear than I remember them being. Like, you can drive around a little bit more of Istanbul than I recalled.
So here's a question. Why did they pick From Russia with Love to do?
Oh, crap. I've got to destroy the car. So, yeah, I wonder what came first. Was it that they thought, let's get Sean back? What film are we going to do? Or did they think, let's get From Russia with Love, or let's do From Russia with Love, that's kind of cool. Oh, we should try and get Sean. Because, like, you would think if you're trying to convert a film into a game, I mean, there's a lot of good action in From Russia with Love, but it is very old.
It's not a bad choice at all. I'm just trying to think if you said, we'll say the PS2 era, just to make it fairer, is like, here's all the Sean Connery films, you can remake one as a video game. I mean, maybe I would pick From Russia with Love, but you think Thunderball might be a better choice, unless there'll be too many swimming sections. That would be a bit too much.
Well, yeah, because like, the first thing you think of is, or at least you think like, oh, Goldfinger, everyone knows Goldfinger, but then Goldfinger, there probably wouldn't be as many things you could translate into a...
Yeah, press A to sit in cell.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you take Goldfinger off the table, Dr. No, again, not really too much.
No, I don't think you could do that film.
You
Only Live Twice would be a pretty solid choice.
Yeah? You get Blofeld in there as well, yeah.
But it's like, I guess the way they remade this game, they've added in stuff like this. Like, there was no Aston Martin chase in the film. So you would assume if they remade one of the films that didn't have this car, they probably would have just added it back in. So when you're in Tokyo, you probably would have been driving around with this car and they do a big chase and stuff. You know, like, they could have done something like that.
It would have been cool to be in the volcano there in the game.
Yeah, that's the main thing I'm thinking of. A video game version of the volcano base. That'd be amazing.
Because that wasn't in Legends, was it? You Only Live Twice.
No.
The
Sean Connery one was Goldfinger.
Right, of course, yeah. The Fort Knox thing was still pretty good. But yeah, I know.
Okay, it was cool that they did it, but it was just a quick time event fight with our job.
Oh yeah, that bit was terrible. Yeah. This car. Come on now. This is not going very well. I'm trying to catch up with this stupid red car. Has the music stopped? Have I taken so long that the music stopped? Oh, there we are. Finally, I can lock on.
A lot of these ones in these games, from what I remember, are very scripted. I feel like Knife Fire was anyway, in the case of like, you're chasing someone, but they like don't let you catch them until a certain point in the chase. and then
Hmm.
suddenly you're just magically they'll like slow down and you just happen to catch up, and then the sequence plays out.
I'd like to say that's what's happening here, but I think it is just me, unfortunately. Oh, there it is. All right. No, not
Oh,
that one. Not
spin
that
it
one.
out.
Okay, that was a bit of that was the game's gimme there, and I dropped the ball.
Did you ever play 007 Racing?
I did, but very very briefly.
Yeah,
It was
I
bad.
never owned it, but that was one of those where I go to a friend's house and they just like, I got this James Bond game. It's like, okay, cool. I like James Bond, and then it's 007 Racing, and it's like, I think I remember liking it, but I can't imagine that was actually a good game.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Maybe when it came out, it was good. I don't know. I never played it back then, but do you mind?
God, that's rude.
I don't know, but yeah, I remember having a very strange voice for either M or Q. Someone over the radio sounded very strange.
It was probably Q, because I think I remember there's like Q describes all the different gadgets you have, or different like weapons, basically. But this was slightly around the time of R coming in, so
Oh God! Oh,
maybe it was R.
Oh, I'm blending in.
Just like, oh, you Russian soldier, you just came out of that Aston Martin.
Can I really? Not...
Yes.
Yeah, I can't use my gun or anything. Oh, look at Kerem there,
Oh, I like it.
looking great. Right, where's the secret armory? I want to try and get this Bond moment. Oh, here it is. Oh, never mind.
Simple
it-
schematics.
is
You
it
haven't
gonna-
done any upgrading, have you?
I upgraded my. Actually, I should probably upgrade it a little bit more. I upgraded my Q armor
Yeah, that seems like a good shout.
because I keep nearly dying.
But again, if you upgrade your weapons, what happens when you don't have that gun?
True.
It's like when that fight you just did, you just only had a shotgun. So it's like if you had upgraded anything else.
Scary looking man.
Oh, he's very time splitters, isn't he?
Not just because he's Russian,
But that too.
but he does look scary. Right. Oh, okay.
Here's the canal. We follow it to a cistern that takes us to the surveillance room under the consulate.
I'll give you a hand with the boat. Stay here, and I'll get the winch.
There they are! Kill them!
Watch out, Joe.
This is not the part I
Just
thought
keep
it
running.
was. I will roll everywhere. Roll to safety. No, 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 no. No, see, that's the thing. I can't crouch down too close to him. My own fault. Hey! I think he slid over there and then died.
Yeah, I don't think you killed him. I think he just tripped. But to go back to 007 Racing a bit, I remember because the PS1 had this very odd era of like driving games being huge. Like there was a lot of, you had your V rallies and stuff and races and Mario Kart, sure, but like I'm thinking games like Driver and things like that. It's like this was early 3D and people kind of realized just people also like driving games, so they would just have these games where it was like driving in 3D environments, but they weren't traditional races. They were kind of mixing things up a bit.
Yeah.
And this was like before GTA 3 came out as well. I just remember there was like a ton of these type of games on the PS1.
I mean, it does make sense if you're looking at Bond games to make. The franchise does have a very strong connection to the cars and stuff, so it's right there, right for the taking. But I just think, well, first of all, I'm not driving like a racing fan of that genre, but then yeah, just the fact it was PS1 and the limitations of that system just means it wasn't very good. I came
Yeah,
out
it was
of
just a
there, didn't
cash grab, but you also had things like Twisted Metal, and I want to say 007 Racing was more of a Twisted Metal clone than say a Driver clone.
Was there a lot? Is that like kind of destruction based then?
Yeah, like Destruction Derby sort of thing.
Oh, I
Everyone
did
gets
like
in an
that game,
arena,
though.
gets
Yeah.
weapons, and blows each other up.
I remember that on N64. That game.
Which Twisted Metal?
No, Demolition Derby.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Don't throw that grenade at me. Right, it's going to be the big minigun man soon, I remember.
That's where you got to hit those weak points.
Oh, there he is. There he is. One moment. No. Please duck. Please. All right. Goodbye. I'll wait for him to come to me.
Oh, that.
The perfect plan.
Yeah,
Do
I
what,
don't think that's
then?
going to play out how you want it to.
Once he comes around the corner, bam.
You got grenades, don't you? Get some grenades in
Ooh,
there.
Damn it. I keep doing that.
One.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Oh,
I missed.
get back in.
Back to the shotgun.
He is coming to you though. Oh, the assault rifle. They made a big deal about that gun.
There we are.
Oh,
Really-
nice.
I thought, yeah, I don't know. He looks a bit more intimidating than he actually is, I guess.
It
Give me that.
worked out.
It all did work out. Let's try the assault rifle then. Oh, I'm out of ammo.
Oh,
Isn't that fun? Having all these weapons and then no ammo for them.
yeah. This is how I remember this game.
Can I drop that on him? Probably not. Is that just going to drop? I think that might just be infinite spawning. Get on with this.
Yeah.
Okay, now run. Don't throw that grenade. It's going to throw a grenade at me. Oh, never mind. It just cuts to that.
Splendid.
Splendid indeed, yes. Apart from the dying. And I didn't get the Bond moment again.
Hold on. Let me try something. I want to see what happens here.
What's that?
Don't worry about it too much. Oh, where is it? Where's Mr. Sparkle?
Oh, I turned Mr. Sparkle off because I thought
Ah.
because you're going to be on the stream, it would be a bit weird.
Boo.
Are
Boo you.
you wondering if it will come through you?
Yeah, I wanted
No.
to talk as Mr. Sparkle.
I'm afraid. Well, A, it wouldn't have worked, but also only I am Mr. Sparkle.
Oh, all right, that's fair. All right, Dennis got my back with current cam though.
Here it is.
The currency never draws.
Did it not save? Come on now. Even though I'm never going to play this again for the foreseeable future. Because I really, yeah, as I say, I don't like this next level. I remember it being annoying because you're basically on the back of this boat shooting with Kerem steering. And maybe it was because it could have been the controller I was using. It was not nice. You
I
never
mean,
know
I
what's behind
think
them.
you kind of maybe want to get up to like the gypsy camp, but I can't remember anything of note after that point.
Sniper Alley. Oh, okay. Yeah. Consulate. Istanbul Part 3. Train. Oh, train I remember liking just because it's trains and yeah.
I think the train mostly takes place on the train station. Like you get off the train and you fight a load of people in the station.
Oh, is there no train level?
Well, there might be, but that's what I remember from that level. That is actually one of the stops, not the train itself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I suppose like a little preview picture probably. It's quite telling. And what's the last one? Oh, that's a bonus one. Okay. Right. Well, yeah, I'm not playing Underground one. Screw that.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, no, it is a decent game. Apart from moaning about this level, I do like this game. It's we kind of said it before, but nothing amazing. But it's just solid. It's you can tell that there was a lot of effort put into actually matching the source material. So I'll give it that.
I think really you get enough out of it from just playing like what you've done here. Like, yeah, it's cool to see this play out. You don't really need to play all the way through it.
No, and I remember getting very stuck when I was younger on. Oh yeah, what was the last mission? Octopus Base. I want to say I beat the game, but I do remember getting like very frustrated with this. But that's just because I'm bad. So it all adds up. It was at one point I was going to do a let's play this game, and then I got so far as to like start practicing, and then nope, never mind. And I'm kind of glad because I don't think it would have been very good.
Yeah, yeah. But again, it's a cool game to go back to. But
You never know what's
About it.
behind them. Dennis, I'll tell you what's behind them. A window.
what?
What? Madness.
That doesn't make sense.
Okay, so I guess to wrap up the stream, just to reiterate, like the whole purpose of the stream was because we are doing a Bond podcast now, so it is available on lots of different platforms. Too many, some may say.
Yeah, it's gone too far. We need to be stopped.
But yeah, it's like what? Spotify, Apple, Amazon. There's a new one that you told me about the other day.
Podchaser.
Podchaser, whatever the hell that is.
It's gone to somewhere else as well because it's this podcast community, man. They got some tech where like you put it to a load of them, it automatically like spreads like a virus to other places. So there's like another one that I can't remember the name of, but yeah, like basically what I would say if you want to listen to it and you want to like listen to it on a podcast provider, but you can't find it, let us know and we'll take a look. But I would imagine at this point it's actually on like 80% of them already because you push it out about 3 or 4, and again it just gets pushed out everywhere.
Yeah, there's like, yeah. I mean, as you said, there's tons, and that, as Tom was mentioning earlier, some of them will eventually have to be split because we ramble for too long. But there is going to be the full cut on YouTube. So if you have, what is it called? YouTube? Is it just called YouTube Premium? Whatever they're calling it now. Where you can play with the app closed, then there you go. You can use that as the podcast player as well.
Yeah. Or if not, the other stuff it's free. And again, it's not. Basically, both parts will go up on the same day anyway. They'll just maybe that's more helpful because people can download them separately if they're worried about their data and stuff. But it'll just be 2 parts. But yeah, that they'll go up on the same day as well. So you won't be behind or anything. It's just YouTube is where it will be complete episodes, where these will be like part 1 and part 2.
There you go. So yeah, the next episode, it's every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, next one is actually properly starting the ranking. Dr. No, which if anyone's listened to episode 0, I actually put very low down. So
yeah, you're like rubbish.
So see my thoughts on that, or hear my thoughts on that, and yeah, how the rankings begin. Righty ho, I'm gonna end off the stream there. Thank you everyone for coming and chatting and asking questions and joining in. Tom, is there anything else you want to say to end off the stream?
I don't think so. I'm just surprised I'm not bombed out. Like, this is really testing the limits here. How much I could talk about Bond, but no, so far it's been super cool doing this. So it's been really nice to come here and talk a little bit of extra Bond and stuff like that and get that out there. So massive thank you to anyone who's already listened.
Yeah.
You know, it's always really difficult to launch a new podcast because I was talking to you, Joe, about this earlier this week, where the idea of being like, it's a new podcast, everyone, is not like crazy. Like people are not flooding out to be like, whoa, a podcast.
It's like, okay, grandma, yeah, right. I know you've got a podcast, but so's my aunt and so's my brother, and it's like, yeah, I've got enough.
Yeah, but people have listened in and got some nice comments as well, and I don't think either of us have replied to those comments, so sorry about that.
Ooh,
we'll do that.
We need to sort out. Yeah, whoops. Ooh.
Yeah, it was, but it's been really, really nice. So thank you to everyone who's listened, and I hope you enjoy the later episodes. And feel free to leave a comment if you have got any questions and stuff. And hopefully, a few of you will do the ranking as well. Be cool.
Yeah, basically what Tom said. So I'll be back. Can I play it on the Walkmans?
I think we've got it on cassette tape, don't we?
I think that was one of the things, wasn't it? It spreads it to like Spotify and that, and it also does start to print out cassettes. So, Dennis, we'll get in touch afterwards. All right, I'll link you up. But yeah, I'll probably be back on Wednesday with some Sam and Max hit the road. But yeah, until then, have a nice weekend, everyone. Tom, thanks for stopping by and chatting with me.
Thanks for having me.
And see everyone next time. Bye bye.
Bye.